Have you ever wondered just how much it costs to run some of your favourite gardening gadgets? Well, you might remember last week we looked at grow lights and they were surprisingly cheap. This week we're looking at heat. So we've got a heated windowsill propagator here to have a look at, and we've also got a heat mat. But the question is it more expensive to run heat or lights? The lights were really cheap. But is this going to be crazy expensive? There's only one way to find out. And we've been running an experiment again. So I've had all these on for a good few hours using our favourite new gadget over here, the Besvik energy meter plug. And I'll come to all this, how I've sort of figured this out in just a moment. First of all, I would like to say a big, massive thank you to my very first Patreon, which is Joe. You're the very first person to sign up. I'd also like to do a big shout out to Ali from Rusty's Garden Place, who has made a donation to the channel as well. And that really helps when we're investing in things like this. So the heat mat has been bought purposefully just for doing this video, just to show you guys out there how much all this sort of stuff costs. Anyway, enough of that. Links down below in the description to all that sort of stuff. Buy me a coffee or Patreon, all that kind of stuff in the description. Please take a look. Anyway, enough of that, right, on to the experiment. So, what have I got and how did I figure out all these different costs? First things first, the heat mat. This is called a Greenbow heat mat and I got it off Amazon. It was $27.99 when I bought it. You can get cheaper ones, but I bought this one specifically, and you might see it's got a few wires here. And the reason I've bought this one is because it comes with this in about all the plugs. So the heat mat plugs into this and this plugs into the socket. But on here you can set the desired temperature that you want the heat mat to get to. And it's got a little heat probe here that helps keeps everything set at the right temperature. Now, for the purposes of this experiment, I had this set at 20 degrees centigrade, or for our friends over the pond there, that's 68 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. I hope I've got that right. For this particular gadget, it does go all the way up to about 32, 33 degrees centigrade, so it can go a lot hotter. It can also go a lot cooler. Obviously, if you put that heat up, it's going to cost more than the figures I'm going to give you today, because we did do it at just 20 degrees centigrade. Next up, we've got this, one of my all-time favourite gardening gadgets. This is a Garland Super 7 heated windowsill propagator. Now, what it normally has on it is 7 little quarter-size seed trays with lids on top of them. You plug it in and it heats up. It works ever so slightly differently to the heat mat in that you can't control the temperature of this. There's no dial, there's no thing you can put up or down to change the temperature. The way it works is it will heat the compost in the little seed trays to around about 8 degrees centigrade or 46 degrees Fahrenheit. I hope I've got that right as well. Above the ambient temperature of the compost or the room. So if you've got them in the house, I have this in the house. So if you've got your heating on and things like that during the day, it's going to put the temperature of the compost around about 8 degrees centigrade above that. Unfortunately, like I say, you can't control it, but it's a great size and it's a great piece of kit. Now, when I looked this up on Amazon, it was £41.54, which is a bit of an odd price. It's very, very specific, but that's how much it is. But this does come, remember, it comes as a full kit. So it comes with the 7 little quarter-size seed trays, and they've all got the vented lids that go on top of them as well. So you're not just getting the mat. With the mat, you've got to use your own cell trays or seed trays, whatever you've got, and put them on top of it. Whereas this comes as a sort of all-in-one kit. And those little quarter-size seed trays with the lids are absolutely magic. And as with everything I am using today, I will put links in the description down below. It'll take you off to Amazon. You can go and click on it. You can have a look. The prices might fluctuate. They might change. That happens on Amazon. You can have a read sort of all about it and see what you think of these sort of gadgets yourself. Anyway, on to the main event. How much did it cost to actually run? It's one thing, you know, going out and buying something. I remember this when a few years ago now, when I bought my first car, and you think it's great, saved up my money, off you go, you buy your own car. But then that's when the real expense comes. You've got to pay your insurance, your petrol, your tax, the MOT, and just general maintenance and upkeep of it. So are these the same? Do these cost a lot to run? Let's find out. So the figures I have used to figure this out, I've used the same that I used in the grow light video. So around about 29 pence per kilowatt hour. That's about the January price cap of electricity here in the UK. Now that 29 pence does include VAT at 5%, but what it doesn't include is a percentage of the 55p standing charge that everybody in the UK pays. If you have electricity piped into your house, you pay 55p a day for the privilege. I haven't taken a percentage of that and added it to this because everybody's going to be different, all the different gadgets and appliances that you use in your house for electricity. Plus, if you've got electricity in your house, you know, I'm not going to apply a percentage to this. You've just got electricity. So let's do the heat mat first. And I'm gonna pick up my notes here because I want to make sure that I get this exactly right for you. As I mentioned before, the temperature was set at 20 degrees centigrade or 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So for that, to run at that came in at around about 14 pence per day. And that's with it running 24 hours per day. So per week, running 24/7, that's 98 pence or around about £4 per month. So I was really, really pleased to see that coming in pretty cheap. You know, it's not a bad price because I was a bit worried that the heat was going to be really expensive to run compared to the lights that we did last week. On to the main event, my favourite one, the Garland Super 7. How much did that cost? Was it more expensive than this? Was it cheaper? Let's find out. So per day, again, running 24/7, this costs around about 2 pence. That's not 2 pence per hour, that's 2 pence for 24 hours. So for the whole day to have this on, that's going to cost you about 2 pence, or again, 14 pence per week if you're going to run it 24/7, or about 60 pence per month. Now that's pretty good. I was really, really pleased to see such a low cost associated with something like this. That said, please do your sums. If, like me, if you've got chilies on the go or things like that at this time of year that need heat and need light, please add it all up together because it's not going to be quite as cheap as you might think. Once you've got the lights on, once you've got the heat on, once everything's on the go all together, just keep an eye on how much that's costing overall. Anyway, I think that's the video pretty much done for today. Hopefully you found that useful to see how much the different heat sort of gadgets cost, especially after we did the light ones last week. If you like what we're doing here, please think about subscribing. It's absolutely free. Just click the button down below. That's you subscribed. Give it a thumbs up. Do you use heat? Do you use lights? Do you use gadgets? Let me know in the comments down below if you're using this sort of stuff to get your seeds on the go. I'm always intrigued. I love a gardening gadget, so I'm dead interested to know anything that you might be using in this space. Anyway, that is me done for today. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.